The dog days of February have begun, Jay, as the march to MSG continues. Welcome to Big East Shootaround. He's Jay Alter. I'm John Fanta from New York City. We've got Seton Hall's Kevin Willard and Kadeem Carrington coming. We've got Barstool Reeks from Barstool Sports as well.
Absolutely loaded show today. Karim Cantor, Angel Delgado, and even Red Panda. You'll see, but first, it's the fastest 2 minutes.
Cue the music, cue those highlights. Here we go. The last week of Big East action. We start in Milwaukee where the Dogs made a statement.
A road win for Laval Jordan and company. Keelan Martin getting it done in transition. Love the way they came out and played so aggressively at Marquette.
The Big Cat, Tyler Weidman, career high, 23.
To Seton Hall, Providence, and this one, all Pirates. Desi Rodriguez, heads up.
Woo, and he flies in. Flight number 20 has taken a set in Newark. Oh, that's so good. We'll see it 3 times. And then Kadeem Carrington, Jay, playing arguably his best game thus far in Big East play.
Absolutely. Another senior on that loaded Seton Hall team, getting them the win. This one was tight in Queens. Makura straight from the circus.
But then, the master, Marvin Clark.
Ooh,
yes! This game was tied. And then...
Xavier, this is what having seniors that have experience in the Big East give you, and then a fifth-year Karim Cantor Musketeers win. To Marquette, ring around the Rousey. Jalen Brunson showing off the handles.
And then the steal and the slam. Brunson keeping it rolling. But Marquette had an answer. Rousey with the 3. It's a 3-point game before McHale. I'll be your bridge over troubled water. Bridges to DiVincenzo for the finish. Nova wins. Meet the Aussie.
Yes, Jacob Epperson, long-awaited debut, and he gave you some thunder down under real quick, rocking the rim there. Blue Jays, it was a tight game, though. Georgetown came to play in Omaha.
It took some bloomin' onions, if you will. Foster with the 3 to close the first half. But I'll tell you what, these Hoyas, they would not go away. A 3 from Mulmore, and then Javon Blair. Bingo! Patrick Ewing's team has hung tough with everybody.
Defense turning into offense. Creighton knows how to close.
Taz, Kyrie Thomas getting it done. In transition, Creighton wins on Creighton versus Cancer Night. A special scene there as they get the result. We'll have a feature on that coming up. Wow, the league picture. Villanova still at the top,
yes,
but now through the middle we've got some developing storylines. Butler, what a takeaway.
Well, that was a big one for Butler. The Bulldogs on the road, they're a team on the bubble. A statement like that, take them off the bubble, put them in.
The other statement made by Seton Hall last night, we caught up with Kevin Willard and Kadeem Carrington after the Pirates rolled past Providence.
I'm joined with Kevin Willard after Seton Hall takes down Providence. And, Coach, what was behind a commanding performance?
Well, I thought my seniors played really well. I thought they understood from the start how important this game was. Both teams came in 5-3. And this time of year, you know, if you got to protect home court, and you play a great team like Providence. I thought that 19-0 run was really critical.
You spoke of it earlier. You talked to Kadeem Carrington in practice earlier this week. Tonight, a tremendous performance. What did you say to him?
You know, I told him, I said, you know, Kadeem, you got to have the same confidence in your jump shot that I do. I said, every time you shoot it, I think it's going in. And I said, you know, you can't let a couple bad nights, you know, take away from that confidence that you're a great shooter. And every time he shoots it, it's like Miles Powell. I think it's going in. So, again, it's sometimes you just got to remind kids how good they really are.
At 6-3 in the Big East, how would you assess where you stand?
I think we're pretty good. You know, I think in this conference, being 6-3 at this point, halfway mark, is really good. I mean, every game's a battle. The league is so deep. It's tough. You know, obviously we have 4 of our next 5 on the road, so that's where this home win was really big for us.
To see your big man Angel Delgado get honored at center court in front of those fans before the game, I know that this senior class still has a lot to accomplish, but what comes to mind?
You know, I think the biggest thing is, you know, if you look at who he surpassed, obviously Derek Coleman, one of the greatest players of all time in this conference. The way he's done it, the energy level he's done it at, with the class that he's done it with, I think it's just a remarkable accomplishment. I think it's unbelievable. I sat there with my wife the other night and we were talking about it. It's just one of those things that it's been such an honor to coach him. It's been such an honor to watch him play.
You win by double digits. That's got to mean Cheesecake Factory, right?
Cheesecake Factory and nachos, Johnny boy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Joined by Kadeem Carrington after the Pirates take down Providence. And Kadeem, what went right for you tonight?
Just easy buckets in transition, getting out, getting my teammates involved. That's what really got me going tonight in the first half.
Coach Willard told me that he's talked to you in practice this week. What's been his message to you, if you could reflect on that?
Always telling me to step in and shoot, just pushing the pace, getting other guys involved, popping the ball. Everything starts with me, so I just try to keep guys involved and stay aggressive on defense also.
Speaking of defense, you limit the Friars to just 57 points tonight. What do you think is clicking for you guys on that end since you had that bye week, these last 2 wins?
I mean, we were able to get a little rest. We focusing on defense, we focusing on our offense, and I think we did a great job tonight.
Number 1 Villanova on Sunday. What comes to mind?
A win. That comes to mind.
How fierce is it when you step on the floor with those guys, knowing what the past history's been?
I mean, it's been a tough past history. We gotten them a couple times. So, we're just going to go in and play hard. I'm sure Coach is going to have a good game plan for us, so we're just going to try to execute it.
Yeah, I hear Grant Billmeyer, 2 straight scouts, 2 straight doves.
Yep.
Congrats.
Thank you, Panda.
Kadeem Carrington, Kevin Willard with John Fanta, and that's an example of a post-game interview that goes perfectly. But you had one the other night in Queens with Karim Cantor that, well, take a look. Sometimes you can't control
we played
other
good at the end,
people,
and we were the
everything's
winning
going
side.
fine, and then, whoa! Bob Barker called. He wants his microphone back. What is that thing flying into your shot?
On the 1950. Karim, you're going to play Plinko for a chance to win $50,000.
A brand new car.
You would make a great Rich Fields.
Yes. You too. We've always said this guy should be a game show host.
Drew Carey.
Okay,
Right.
let's move on.
All right, what do we got here? We move to Angel Delgado again.
History. All-time leading rebounder in Big East basketball history. Quite the accomplishment.
Breaking the record in Sunday's win at DePaul and getting honored. There's our Senior Associate Commissioner of Men's Basketball. It's Stu Jackson with the ball presentation. Very cool to see this, Jay.
That record stood for more than 25 years in Angel Delgado. It shows you not just this season, but his entire career, what he's meant to the Big East and what he's meant to Seton Hall.
Absolutely. History for Delgado and what he continues to do for this program, this class. Now, we'll see what they can do on Sunday. Fascinated by Super Bowl Sunday. You start your day on Fox at noon with Seton Hall and Villanova.
All right, biggest story of the day. Listen up, everybody. This is an emergency. Red Panda, the entertainer at halftime, she's the best in the country. Her 7-foot unicycle was stolen from the San Francisco airport. She was at Omaha over the weekend. The unicycle was found there. $2,000 reward if you can find Red Panda. We need the unicycle back so she can show off her moves. John, absolutely awful. What are your thoughts?
I do have thoughts. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very short career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let Red Panda's unicycle go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will ride that unicycle back to Red Panda.
Okay. A little intense for a 7-foot unicycle.
I will ride that unicycle back to Red Panda.
It is Red Panda. She's been terrific. We saw her multiple times this year. Georgetown, Syracuse, and Omaha
Yeah, and
over
it's
the
a crime.
weekend. It is a crime.
Who did this? Who
We
would
don't
take
know.
a unicycle?
Well, that's another point. Is what are you going to do with that? What's the resale value on a 7-foot unicycle? All right.
Come on.
You know who else is missing? John Wall. But it has not been a problem for the Washington Wizards because of Georgetown's Otto Porter, our NBA spotlight for the week. back-to-back wins for the Wiz, and Porter putting up good numbers.
Just to clarify, folks, John Wall's not actually missing.
He's hurt.
He's hurt. He's hurt. He's not actually missing. He's not actually missing, but Otto Porter's role has increased. Jay did this in rehearsal. I didn't actually think he'd do it live on the show. Porter is on fire. 21.5 points and back-to-back wins, and you got to love it. He gets buckets, man.
More than 20 points a game for the Washington Wizards, living up to that max contract he signed over the summer.
Let's switch gears here. Earlier this week, Jay caught up with Barstool Riggs from Barstool Sports. There's a big senior 3-on-3 tournament coming up at the Final Four this year in San Antonio. So who from the Big East could be in that? Jay talked about all that and much more with Barstool Riggs.
And we're joined now by Riggs from Barstool Sports. He's the host of the Fundamentally Sound podcast, and he gives you everything you need to know when it comes to college basketball. Riggs, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. How you doing?
Doing real well. We were going to start with this 3-on-3 tournament. I think it's a really cool idea that's not getting enough buzz, but it's going to take off the week of the Final Four. For those that don't know, could you tell us what's going on in San Antonio?
Yeah, so it's a really cool event that I'm happy to be a part of. Intersport is the company that kind of put it all together. Every conference in Division I is going to be representative by 4 guys of seniors that have exhausted their eligibility. So we're not going to have to worry about, will they come back or anything like that. So seniors that have exhausted their eligibility, 4 players from each conference, all 32 conferences. And there's $100,000 on the line. I'm super excited, man. It's going to be an awesome event. The growth of 3-on-3 with Olympic sports and becoming an Olympic event there and FIBA event. It's cool to see it happen kind of at the collegiate level and there's a bunch of good seniors. I'm happy to see them being rewarded for something like this.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible idea. And at the Big East, from our perspective, obviously, I think you've got the conference ranked number 1 right now in your 3-on-3 power rankings. What would be your ideal team as it stands right now for the Big East?
So the other thing is we're trying to take one, at least when we vote, it's going to be 1 player from each team. So you can't vote up on you can't just say Seton Hall's going if they don't make the Final Four, because obviously them versus Purdue would be a great senior 3-on-3 game. So my ideal team, I'm a big fan of guards and wings that you can just kind of train, rotate in and out. I like the 6'6" guys that the positionless basketball. For the Big East, you have to put Angel Delgado there. You have to put Trayvon Blewett. Those 2 right off the bat. I would go Kalon Martin, and then I would throw in probably Marcus Foster, but I'm really enticed to put Andrew Rousey on my team, just because good luck stopping Blewett and Rousey at the 3-point line, Martin mid-range 3-point line, and then Delgado underneath. I mean, that conference is loaded with seniors. I mean, you can make a case for Desi Rodriguez or Carrington. There's just a bunch of guys that are worthy, and that's why I have them number 1 in my power rankings that I do every week for the 3-on-3.
You really can't go wrong. You didn't mention a guy, Kyron Cartwright, who I think his game translates to 3-on-3 perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys too. It's where does he fit in? Like I mentioned, you throw a couple guards out there. Obviously, in a full court game, Cartwright is kind of your prototypical point guard. When you look at 3-on-3, okay, maybe he's the 3rd option out of the point guards. It's a completely different game, but I almost feel wrong having to leave a couple of those guys out when picking just 4.
Barstool Riggs. You can find him on Twitter at Barstool Riggs, host of the Fundamentally Sound podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your college hoops insight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot.
And you can hear my entire conversation with Barstool Riggs on our Twitter and YouTube page after the show. John, we're at the big board. Barstool Riggs inspired us a little bit. We're going to do our own little 3-on-3 game. And would you like to give me heads or tails on who goes first?
Let's go tails.
It's heads. So I'm going to take the first pick.
There it is. Jay's got the first pick. Again, folks, this is exclusively seniors.
Right.
Seniors from Big East Hoops. You can't pick more than 1 player from a team. So if you've picked Angel Delgado, you can't then pick Desi Rodriguez. So, Jay, you've got the first pick.
No Jalen Brunson, no Mikal Bridges.
Just
because
seniors.
they are not seniors. I'm going to go with Trayvon Blewett. I want a scorer. Blewett, my first pick.
And I will counter with the post presence, the Big East all-time leading rebounder. I can't believe he's number 2 on the board. I will go with Angel Delgado.
And it's a snake, so you get another one.
That's right. And so with that, I'm going to go with a point guard here.
Wow.
And there's not many senior point guards, so Kyron Cartwright is mine from Providence.
A proven scorer, like his speed. You've got a big man and a point guard. You've got a wing player. You know what? I'm going positionless basketball. Give me Marcus Foster. Love his isolation game. He'll bring it to the 3-on-3 tournament. And give me Keelan Martin up top. Give me Keelan Martin.
Yeah, it's safe to say I've got the battle of the glass one. Give me the Makura factor. I've got J.P. Makura. Love him on the wing. I need a guy who can knock down the three. I need a guy who can ball fake and drive. And I need grit. I get that on the defensive end with JP. He could body up
got
Foster.
one last pick.
He can get up on Blewett. And so with my final pick, I will go with Andrew Rousey from
Wow.
Marquette. Three's aplenty.
All right, so again, it's 3-on-3, but you get 4 because in San Antonio for this tournament, you do get a reserve player. I'm going with Desi Rodriguez. Really, I'm picking 4 guys that can score. They're versatile. You know what? And I'll have Desi man up on Delgado. They see each other every day in practice. I like it.
I can guarantee you Kevin Willard has never slapped Desi Rodriguez on Angel Delgado in practice. We'll see how that would
So
be.
tweet us, which team do you think would win, Alter or Fantas? And then tweet in your own. You don't have to draft against anybody. If you had to do a 3-on-3 tournament, who would your 4 guys be? Because this is coming, and it's not getting enough buzz. I talked about it with Barstool Riggs. We need more attention on this because I think the Big East, the best seniors in the country, and they will shine in this 3-on-3 tournament.
Tweet us at Big East MBB, at J Sports, at John_Fanta. We've got fan questions next. First, a quick timeout on Shootaround.
Tell them we ready for the road, a journey to survival. Lava Madison Square where competitors turn to rivals. Champion versus champion, see who's labeled the GOAT. In the Big East, the biggest tournament on the coast. Whoa. I was born to be glorious, most definitely glorious. I'm destined to be
The Big East Tournament at Madison Square Garden. Get tickets now.
Welcome back to This Week in the Big East. I'm John Rook with Kevin McNamara.
He has that explosive offensive ability.
This guy could be one of those true remarkable young stars. Friar head coach Ed Cooley joins us.
The league is as talented as it's been since the new configuration of the Big East.
Junior guard Kadeem Carrington joined us.
Last year was a great stepping stone, but we just got to stay focused.
One of the premier conferences in college basketball, the Big East Conference. They used to have an old thing. Now it's very much a new thing. But the Big East is back, baby, and in a big way.
It's time to open up the Big East Hoops mailbag. I ask you guys every week for your questions, and on Monday I asked for them, and wow, did you come in hot. We got plenty.
Well, that's what happens when you get into real crunch time, really just a month left in the regular season. We get the mailbag overflowing. Question number 1, we just did a 3-on-3, who would you have? How about a 1-on-1 tournament? The Big East top 8 teams, 1-on-1 tournament, on, one player per team. Who wins it?
So I went with, for 1 through 8, I was thinking, I put together a lineup, because of time here, who would win it? I would say Marcus Foster. In a 1-on-1 tournament, they've got 2 candidates in Foster and Kyrie Thomas.
Marcus Foster, the people. I love him out in Omaha. You're right. His isolation game, I think, the best in our conference right now.
True bucket getter. What else we got?
We will stay in Omaha. Question coming from Creighton. John, do you think it was smart for the Blue Jays to burn the Australian Jacob Epperson's red shirt?
Absolutely. Because with a post presence, this Creighton team can be a second weekend NCAA caliber tournament squad. With Kyrie Thomas and Marcus Foster, their offense is infectious, and Thomas leads the charge defensively. But with the loss of Martine Crumple, Creighton just is so thin down low. They bring in Epperson. Yeah, he's got to get conditioned. Yeah, he has to keep getting more fed and just get accustomed to playing on this team. But it absolutely is smart, because with a guy down low that can just produce solidly Creighton can be a team that can get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. That's why Greg McDermott made this move. And credit to Jacob. His parents left the decision up to him. He sees the opportunity here. The sky's the limit for Jacob Epperson, and he gives Creighton even more potential. So, yes.
Love a kid who wants to step up and play. Yes, it's his freshman year, not shy. He played terrific against Georgetown over the weekend. All right, another question. Keep it coming. Mailbag overflowing. This one about Phil Booth. What are your thoughts about the injury? How does the number one team in the country cope without their senior?
They have an All-American point guard who is the ever-calming presence that is Jalen Brunson. And this means that Dante DiVincenzo's role has to increase for Villanova, but he's more than comfortable doing it. When you talk to Dante, the word confidence comes to mind. He's got a swagger about him. He's ready to take on an increased role while Phil Booth is out. It's unfortunate news for Villanova that they're going to be without Booth, but this train keeps on rolling because of Brunson and the complementary pieces they still have around him in DiVincenzo, in Bridges, and in Eric Paschal, who's one of the most improved players in the Big East.
We're tight on time, so we can't get to everybody's question in the mailbag, but we appreciate you sending them in. We'll be back same time, same place next week, but we'll do one more before we go. A lot of people wanted to know, Super Bowl pick. Big game this Sunday after Villanova Seton Hall. Eagles, Pats, who do you like?
I have always been taught to never go against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And last year I was thinking that, and they come back from 28-3, and if that proved anything, it's that you never go against them. But at some point, somebody's got to take them down. And I honestly believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are playing better football right now than the New England Patriots. Philly's defense has the momentum. If they can get pressure on Tom Brady, that's the name of the game. If the Jacksonville Jaguars could stay in it for 3 quarters, the Patriots have never blown anybody out in Super Bowls. And Nick Foles will be ready for this stage. He showed it. I'm so impressed with Peterson's play calling. I am taking the Eagles, and I'm taking them 27-24 Philadelphia.
Stick to basketball. Because you cannot go against Brady and Belichick. You can't. The Giants, only team to beat him. They've done it twice in the Super Bowl. That's not going to change. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, roll into Minnesota, get Super Bowl number 6. Look, you were raised in football by the Browns, so I'll give you some credit here. You don't pick against Brady and Belichick. You just don't do it.
We'll be back next Thursday at 1 Eastern time, and you can find out who was right. Over the weekend, I was in Omaha, and I'll tell you what a scene. Creighton versus Cancer Night. This goes beyond basketball. The community comes together. Here's a special feature. The CenturyLink Center in Omaha is always packed for Creighton games, but tonight it's packed with a sea of pink at the link for a special cause. It is Creighton versus Cancer Night, as they have raised nearly $30,000 for the fight against breast cancer awareness. This is the 8th pink out that Creighton has had. It started with Greg McDermott's arrival, and it is such a special cause and a special night in Omaha.
Well, it's special for me. I think it's special for the basketball program. It's special for the community. It's a time when the community unites for a great cause. You're going to see 16,000 pink shirts. You're going to see people be able to be recognized for who they support in the fight against cancer. And we get 2 of the biggest competitors in the health business. This is the only time they unite. It's the only cause they unite for in the community.
This is a really cool event. I mean, I've been here for 5 years now. Every year it's special with the families that buy us, and it means a lot to me too, because I've got some family members that have had, been afflicted with cancer, and so this is just a really cool event all the way around.
It means a whole lot to me as far as giving back to the families that that put a lot of money into this, especially our fans who probably have relatives that's going through cancer or maybe passed away from cancer. So it's not about me. It's more so about them. And we gave them a show tonight. It's a good cause. It's for a good cause, and everybody came out and supported well.
There is one especially emotional moment on this night. At the under-12 media timeout in the second half, the Creighton faithful stand up for someone that's been impacted by breast cancer.
Well, I get goosebumps every year, and I fight back tears every year at that media timeout. When you look around and you see that every person in this building is impacted in one way or another by cancer.
Memories are made following the Creighton versus Cancer game, as those families who bid on the auctioned off jerseys of those Creighton players get to meet the Blue Jays themselves.
It was an anonymous donor that bought one of the jerseys, and they said, you know, we want to donate it, and we want it to be in your wife's memory. And so my daughter, who's right over there, you could probably take a picture of her. She's 3 years old, and I let her pick the name on the back of the jersey, and she decided to say, I want Mommy Kayla on the back of it. So that's how I know her, and that's Mommy Kayla. And so Martine Crumple wore Mommy Kayla and represented her really well.
I think Creighton basketball in this athletic department has shown over the last 20 years that their attendance has been huge. And I think the attendance and the community support has really built upon just a fan base and a community that works together. And cancer is a huge thing that affects everyone. And if you can get a good mass of people together, why not bring them together and raise some money and see if we can beat this thing.
If we are able to take advantage of the resources that a community provides, and Omaha has been a tremendous community for us, and there's no better cause that we can get involved with than the fight against cancer.
Let's look at our upcoming games. Jay, what do you have on your mind?
I'll tell you the one that stands out. Noon, Sunday, Fox broadcast channel, Seton Hall at Villanova. The Pirates looked so good last night against Providence. In that game, typically, in the last couple of years, it is a fight. That is my game of the weekend, not even close. Really like what Seton Hall is bringing in to Philadelphia, but obviously, you got Jalen Brunson, you got Mikal Bridges, you're the #1 team in the nation.
I'm always zoned in on Mikal Bridges' defense against Desi Rodriguez and what he can do on the offensive end. I've got Marquette and Providence. Saturday, 2:30, FS1. Two teams who really need it. You could argue Marquette is in a must-win situation. The Golden Eagles have lost 3 straight. Last night's effort against Butler was not there. We know that they can stroke it from deep. Kyron Cartwright's going to look to bounce back. The urgency factor in this one will be ultra high.
And that game was epic when it was played at the Dunk. 95-90 overtime game. Howard scored 100. Incredible.
It's all going to come down to if Howard and Rounsley can get going for Marquette, because they just don't have enough beyond those two guys in the scoring column in their rhythm to get it done. And Kyron Cartwright needs a bounce-back performance, a rare scoreless showing last night.
It was a loaded show today based off that slate. It'll be another loaded show next week. That's what Big East basketball is all about.
We're back next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy the games this weekend. And we end with this, a throwback to one of the great games in conference history.
And we get set to drop the mic on the title game of the Big East Championship Tournament. #1 seed Villanova set to take on your 3 seed Seton Hall Pirates.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness. The greatness of Madison Square Garden, but most importantly, we have a chance to be part of the greatness of this conference. The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here, to be part of this conference. Now you've worked hard, you've given yourself a chance, go out there and be part of that greatness. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're up.
Whitehead from Brooklyn, New York. Coney Island, rising fire. He's got incredible deep range on that J. Archidiakono trying to answer. Archidiakono, all hustle and heart. With the power dribble, left hand off the glass. Nicely done.
Seton Hall team led by their superstar, Isaiah Whitehead.
Largest lead of the game for the Pirates. Seton Hall, if you don't know,
better ask somebody.
Got a bunch of hard-nosed city kids on this Seton Hall squad. Seton Hall with a 40-29 lead at the break. This is the biggest deficit at halftime for Villanova this year. Final 20 from MSG. Pushes off 18. Count it. He can do anything he wants. Up top, Big Smoke. championship game winds down. Down the lane, shows it, kicks it, Jenkins, and he banked it down for the equalizer, Chris Jenkins. The first tie of the ball game. Energy in this building, folks, incredible. Whitehead in transition, and in, plus the foul. 6 to shoot, Jenkins lets it go, top of the key. 64-64, 2 minutes to play. As they rise to their feet here in the Garden, Arcidiacono. Jenkins steps back. Oh! Smooth! Gives Villanova the lead. 67-64 and a foul. Seton Hall crosses the half-court line, Carrington.
Well, you know where it's going. Mismatch.
Whitehead drives to the hole. Hangs and one. Isaiah Whitehead. Outlet pass. Arcidiacono.